So I'll create a package first for this chapter. So alt insert package, and I will mark it as chapter 13, write object, read object. Okay, and I will copy this so that I can create a similar package in the test. So alt insert package and control V and this one. So we have got these two chapter 13 package created in both source and test. Again, to save some time, I will copy the previous market data provider transient. Just copy this, control C and control V, and I will change the name as market data provider write object. Going to be a longer name, but it's fine. Market data provider write object, read object. This is our reference object that we will customize. And let me see whether, so we are not going to implement serializable here. Okay, so everything looks good. So we have got a private string name, which is initialized by the constructor, and we have got getters and setters. And except I need to change just one thing, that I will mark it as market data provider. It's good enough. That's it. So this is good enough for our reference object that we are going to point. Control Alt L, it's all good now. Again, to save some time, I will copy the previous chapter's main Java Pojo class. Control C, Control V, and again I will change the name as with write object, read object. Okay, and let me do some basic cleanup. So I will first of all remove this serial version UID. As soon as I remove it, I will have this warning. So Alt Enter, create constant field, and ID has generated for us. And let me make some more changes here. I will remove this transient for primitive. And okay, this is good. And now I will change this market data provider class to be matching with our own chapter, this new chapter, write object, read object, right? Okay, so only this reference object we are going to mark as transient. And let me remove the getters and setters first and regenerate them. So go here, delete. It's quite quick and easy. So Alt insert getter and setter, Control A, okay. And similarly, I will write down Alt insert toString method. Okay. Okay, so these two are created now. Now we have to write the exact signatures to override our default serialization process. So as you remember that for serialization, we have to exactly copy the same method signature and override it to write our custom code, and similarly for deserialization. So let's do it. So I'll simply copy this, Control C, go back here and just type exactly same here. I will mark it as final, and maybe I will just mark it as OS here. Okay. Just remember that this is a private, so we don't need to like annotate it with override or something. Just have the same method signature as write. So here, let me remove this comment, and I will write. So first of all, I will do the default write object, which is the default custom serialization, which is done by Java. So I'm seeing so Alt Enter, add exception to method signature or surround with try catch. Maybe I will surround with try catch. Okay. And just leave it like this. Oh, sorry. Control Z. Okay. And again, I will mark it as final here. So this is, we are doing the default, but now I want to, because our market data provider object, this is marked as transient, right? So it will not be a part of serialization, but we want to override it. So we want to actually override the default behavior and actually write on the stream say os dot write UTF. UTF is for string. As you can see, we are showing the string here. In brackets, I will provide the market data provider dot get name. Okay. So what it means is, if you go to get name here, in this market data provider write object read object class, we only have one private string name, and we have provided getters and setters for it, and we can also initialize this object by passing this in the constructor here. So that's why I'm just storing the string here. And if this market data provider would have other fields like double or int or whatever private fields, and it was initialized using the constructor, so I would write that as well. So the os.write UTF is for string. We have got for write double, for example. If I do control this, so we can see the default write fields, put fields, and there are other things as well. We can write byte buffers, write chars, etc. Write boolean, bytes, double, whatever fields we want to write. Okay. So in this case, I'm just using a simple example to just write a string. Now we have done for the write object. Now let me do it similarly for the read object. So again, I have copied the exact method signature, private void read object, final object input stream, and the mark parameter as is. Okay. Now again, same as here, I will first of all call the default deserialization process by calling this method. Again, we got this. So I do alt enter. I will surround with try catch. Okay. So it throws two of them. So I will again collapse it, alt enter, collapse catch blocks. Okay. So the first step, we have simply used the default deserialization process, reading the object. And now I want to create the market data provider of this instance using new market data provider. And then you remember we are writing this write UTF, right? Similarly, we will need, just mark it the second line as is dot read UTF. Okay. UTF. So let's revise what we have done. Because our reference object in this class is marked as transient, so we again wrote this writeObject method with exactly same signature. We call the default writeObject method, which will call the default serialization process of Java. Then we wrote the UTF string, which is actually just a string for market data provider get name, whatever the name was there. And then we again try to deserialize using the default readObject method. And then we created this market data provider object, which was marked as transient, by reading the name, which was stored here, by calling is.readUTF and re-getting this object. So also let me, just to see that when this process is called, I will simply write as out that inside writeObject, something like this. Okay. When we write our unit test case, we will exactly know that when this is called. And similarly here, it should be readObject. Okay, so we have done our implementations for writeObject and readObject. Let's write the unit test.